we're going to start all over again, and this time I'm going to make sure we're not on mute. So, thanks for sticking with us. We are at JCON with the Build Propulsion Lab, and with me I have Lofi D. So, Lofi Dewanto.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, I just asked you to introduce yourself, but I'm going to have to do that all over again. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Lofi Dewanto, and I'm working with Java since version 1.0, right? So a long time ago, and I also actively developed the idea of open source in Java in 2000. So it's quite a bit long time now. Very old one, all right. So
yes.
And afterwards, I met the GWT, GWT, right, from Google Web Toolkits. And afterward, I just hang with the people there, and I really love the idea of the product. So today, in open source area, I'm working, try to make a bit marketing about GWT and the transpilers at the end for Java to JavaScript.
All right, so I'm very interested in this topic. I haven't played with JWT in a number of years. I remember really liking the idea, mostly because maybe I have a strong preference for Java instead of JavaScript. That might be part of it. But I'm just naturally more productive, I feel, in Java, right? Because part of that's just what I know.
Yeah.
But JWT felt like it kind of went away for a little while.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about kind of the current state of things, or maybe how we got to where we are and where we're going?
Yeah, actually, this is a typical Google, I think, right? They have such a huge, successful product with GWT. And they also have, maybe you remember the Google Wave?
No.
Google Wave was actually a first product which is built by GWT. And everyone was very, very interested in that product, but they killed it in just 1 year or something like that. And Google killed a lot of products already. So
that's the Google Way, not the Google Wave.
Not Google Wave, yes. And that's the point actually on, it's also happening with the GWT. They always call it GWT, actually, not
GWT. Okay. So GWT, I didn't know that. Yeah,
GWT.
I've only seen it written down, right?
Yes.
And you play with it.
Yeah.
So GWT.
GWT. And after a while, they also say, "Oh, come on, we don't want to develop anymore." I think it's also because of the fight between Oracle and Google about the Java.
Oh yes.
And they want to kick every Java product they have, and that's also one of the ground, I think, about why they take out the whole GWT stuff. But still, it's open source, still until today. And a lot of good people working on that part. And the last release was last January. So we are working on that part. And new version, and the next version will be support the Java 17 syntax. Because it's a Java to JavaScript, not transpiler, right? So you transform from Java to JavaScript. You can use everything in your Java environment. You have a Maven, Gradle, or whatever what you Java use, the whole library, but also a bit constrained because not every single Java library can work on browser, right? On JavaScript, and therefore you have a bit constraint there. But anything, you have a new release still until now.
Well, I really had no idea that it was still an active project. Yeah. So GWT, I got to remember that, not GWT, but GWT.
Yes.
Okay. So is there certain types of projects that will work better for GWT?
Yeah. The point is actually that we have today a lot of JavaScript, TypeScript frameworks on browser, right? Like Vue.js, you have React, you have Angular. They all work on web browser.
Yep.
And that's actually also the point why GWT very good is actually because everything what GWT is doing is just transpiling Java to JavaScript, and the result will always work in web browser. You don't ever need the server part.
Yes. Yep.
So that's the difference between Vaadin, JSF, because they all work on the server side of a presentation layer, right? And the point is, you could use GWT, Angular, Vue.js if you actually have a lot of traffic in your web application. So you put a whole power to the client, the client PC, right? So every single things you are doing is only on your client, and the server doesn't get too much trouble for that part, right? So that's actually the one and only situation where Grid and Vue.js and React and Angular is also very good at. If you have just a small web application, just go for Java people, Java developer, just go for Vaadin or JSF or Timeleaf, because you don't need the millions access to the web application. You just I don't know, need for 50,000. Don't need to have a web browser based UI framework. But still, Grid is a good way if you want to really use your web browser, because in Grid you can access the whole web API, like everything what you have on the web browser, you can access it naturally, just like using JavaScript. But with Java, like you said, so if you are common to the Java programming, you have your IDE, you have your library,
all the tools that I'm used
all
to.
the tools, and it's really, really easy for Java development. Yes.
Very cool. So again, you're gonna forgive me because it's been a number of years since I looked
I know,
at this.
because everyone say, "Hey, come on, Grid is dead." What? Is Grid still there? No, it's dead.
But I kind of remember there being some coupling with presentation layer. I feel like I remember that anyway. Could I use Git for like a library? Like if I had some logic I wanted to build?
Yeah, that's the point. The Grid is actually before is a huge kind of framework. Right? You have Transpire inside, you have the framework, UI framework, and now we separate that one because actually the group is small, the open source community, the one who actually really implement the Transpiler.
Yep.
But it's enough just to use the Transpiler. I'm using the Transpiler just to do like you said, some presentation logic, and I can mix it up with Angular or whatever. And you don't have to use the UI framework, but you still have a lot of new UI frameworks today using Grid as a transpiler.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. All right. Very cool. So before the show here, I mentioned every time I play around with Java in the browser, I feel frustrated, right? Like I've used Kotlin multi-platform. That's a great project, but the tooling, last time I looked at it, the tooling was in its infancy, and granted, this was a couple years ago. There's, what was it, TVM, and there's another one too, Chip or Chirp or something. And they're all kind of partial, they're different types of solutions. Those are VMs running in the browser, whereas this is transpiling the code. So you want to touch on that a little bit, what the difference is?
Yeah, there are a lot of differences and a lot of frameworks. And I would also say TVM is also quite successful today because they have a huge commercial product on it, I think. So you can now just take a Swing application and run it on the browser.
Oh, yes.
So it's quite interesting.
I miss the days of writing Swing, but it's been that's been a much longer time.
You stopped the Swing era.
I started in the Swing era, and then that kind of died.
Yeah, but IntelliJ still is written in Swing, right? So
yes,
today,
there are still some big apps written in Swing.
And NetBeans also.
Yes,
still
and I miss it.
Okay, yeah, me too. Yeah. But that's not the problem. And yes, there's a lot of different things running on web browser. And also today's WASM, right? WebAssembly. That's the one huge thing where the people think, oh, that will be the next virtual machine, right? And we'll throw out the whole Java virtual machine and we all have the WASM, right? And but Grid is there. You can transpile your code from Java to JavaScript, very optimized, very small as a result. So the next product would be also still used by Google. It's called, maybe you have heard it, Jekyll?
Yes.
J2CL?
Yep.
It's still there. And at the moment, the whole community of Grid tried to integrate Jekyll at the end as a transpiler. So the whole things will be moved to Jekyll, but it's hard work, of course, because it's a new transpiler. And but it's still there. I mean, the whole thought about transpiling code from Java to JavaScript, I mean, that's normal. The TypeScript did the same thing, right?
Same solution.
So, and everything, if you see the whole JavaScript frameworks today, you always have some kind of transpiling, right? Tailwind CSS, I mean, come on, they also transpile those things back to CSS, right? And TypeScript and so on. So that's actually a normal thing.
That's true. That's a good point. It's a very natural sort of thing that we do in a lot of other tools. I think we think about it less in the Java world, maybe, because we go from whatever, you compile a file, you get a Java class, and then that's usually the end of the day. But yeah, so this is great. So if somebody wanted to learn more about GWT or the current state of things or how to get started, where would they go find out more information?
Just Google it, gwtproject.org. I mean, there's there and still there, everything. And also we have a lot of good discussions and also a forum and something like that. So just go there, every information is there.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Lofi, for your time and telling us about the current state of GWT and for telling me how I should have been saying it for the last, whatever, 15 years.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. So, all right.
Thank you for the invitation, right? Very, very nice.
Yes, well, yeah, thanks for being here. So again, we're live from JCON, and we'll have some links once this is recorded in the bottom here for you to learn more. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.